it's top tier tiers
Red.
set reviews. I just woke up, okay? This is actually on a different day to our yellow and green cards, so we won't be able to make in jokes regarding what we said about the other two. So we'll use the opportunity to make all new memes. With me, I've got Elprez and Beanley, as we did last time.
Yep.
Uh, I'm having difficulty Englishing right now, so you'll have to forgive me. Anyway, so our first card we've got here is Akitsushima Kai. She's a 002K runner. Uh, it's a very special runner though. If you've got one or few other characters, it gains 1/5 power, and at the start of your opponent's attack phase, you may move this to the right front row slot.
That's very strange.
I think it's got to do with I think it's flavor. I think this ship like died to port or starboard or what. I don't remember. I remember reading somewhere that it was flavor.
Let's see. I'm gonna look this up while you're talking about it.
Yeah, well, this card is great. I don't see a reason why you can. Um, yeah, so it's a 3/5 that can only run in one place, but that's fine because it means unless your opponent has two cards that can deal with a 3/5, you're getting your plus, which is really nice.
You'd rather run to right.
Someone's echoing. Feeling?
Um,
Alright, sounds better. Yeah, we're good.
You were saying?
I was saying it's better to run to the right rather than the middle for like this type of running profile.
I do agree, since it's not common anymore, but the middle has the opportunity to be supported by two assists. So, yeah. I mean, there's not many cards that only run to the middle, but the only
Yeah.
relevant one that does that is a bomb. So,
Yeah. That one was. Your opponent had to commit two to the board, and they were probably losing one.
yeah, which is good. This one is a little worse than Chitoge, I think, because
It's an oversize instead of a bomb.
yeah, like if your opponent has a 4K and has two 4Ks for whatever reason, then you have to deal with two 4Ks, which is already a bit frustrating. And current Kantai, I don't think runs much in the way of bombs. It's mostly just utility stuff and supports right now. So I think
That's.
this card is pretty good. Like it fixes for red. It's usually a plus unless your opponent has two answers.
Like,
I think it's a very, very fine playable plus card.
yeah, I think that's about right. I don't think it's quite good rating. It feels more like filler than something you're starting with, but that's the case for a lot of these kind of beater profile level zeros, anyways.
Yeah, and as always, it dies to the anti runner bombs, so it doesn't get any bonus points for ignoring those.
Yeah, still can't run. I mean, it's not like the most interesting card. It's just like very serviceable.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right, moving onward.
yeah. All right. So this next card is uh this one's an interesting one. So it's Kashima. She's a 3295, and I think she's a really popular character. I'm not entirely sure why. I know she's voiced by Saori Hayami. Anyway, her abilities uh,
Draw two, ditch
come
one.
and play, draw two, ditch one. That's very very good actually. Since Kankoli doesn't have a very good digging card aside from, well, I don't even think Akagi is that good, but I digress. This is draw two, ditch one, which is strong. It's also got come and play, gain X power, where X is the number of your boat girls. So it's probably going to be like around 11K. If you're multi-fielding these, the last one will be 12K, which is pretty good.
Yep.
And then you've got, when this card's battle opponent is reversed, if you have the gate, one of the gates in your climax zone, you may deal X damage, where X is the number of your opponent's reversed characters.
It seems fine. I think I'm still slightly biased to the old. Is it a Congo?
Yeah, Congo.
The
So
on attack burn
there's
instead.
exactly. There's a lot of things to take in regarding this card. So the first is that she's draw two ditch one. I think that's really important, and I think that that's why you play her in a deck that has cards like Compass.
Yeah.
That makes her naturally more consistent than cards such as Congo. And we'll get to the finishing ability soon, but based on just that, based on the fact it's a draw two, ditch one, and on the fact it gets kind of big, I think that by itself makes it worthy for inclusion in a deck. Now, as to whether it's better than Congo or not, that's a really good question.
Let's see.
Congo,
You
Congo
definitely
does not. Hmm?
you do get to kill things with this at least. Congo's a healer, I think.
Yeah, so Congo, for those who don't remember, and I don't blame you for not remembering, she's a 3 to 8 5. She's got a gate climax combo that gives her power, the ability to burn on attack, and
Change.
the ability to salvage two characters when you reverse an opponent. And she also has a change effect where you sack her and put in Congo Kai or something like that,
Tiny or
and that's
whatever.
12k heal, which kills itself. But Congo is very good right now for several reasons. I'll go over those very briefly. The first is that she pings on attack. That means she's immune to anti-damage, so Darkness Plan, Money Counter, and obviously Compass. Um,
She doesn't need to reverse.
she does not need to reverse. That's very important because she's only like 11-5, maybe 12-5 or something after the climax. I don't remember
I
exactly.
think she bumps up to like
And
11 and then goes to 12.
yeah, but the most important thing is after all said and done, she changes. And you can just pay a change cost without specifying a target. So you can change Congo, killing her, and then have just an empty space there, which is really good against decks like Cinderella Girls, which need to play Climax and Overswing, or Milky, where their main finishes are all on reverse. Like, Congo is very good in the meta for a couple reasons. I don't think it's just because of the combo that she's good.
I agree. Actually, I straight up think like if you're changing into Congo Kaini, you're probably making a mistake. Um,
Well, she does heal, and in
eh,
that deck you
it,
run like
the slots bug me because now you're basically locked out of picking either one of the hateful parts of the choose one of three. So you're probably playing none of them. Then you're probably not playing Akagi because you have a level 3 combo. You're not
no,
playing
exactly.
anti-salvage because you have to run gates and your Congo salvages, and you're not running anti-heal because Congo Kaini heals. I think you'd be better off running the anti-heal and not playing Congo Kaini.
I certainly agree. I think anti-heal is one of the reasons Kankole is relevant at all, and that if it tops without anti-heal, it's almost certainly because people are representing it in higher numbers than it deserves to be represented in, and that's just something I see all over Asia, in that Monogatari, Deramas, and then some decks like Charlotte get overrepresented, and as a result, people think that they're much better than they actually are.
I mean,
They're
Two
very good
Lover
decks.
Two
Don't
Lover has
get
like
me wrong.
hilarious underrepresentation compared to the power level of the deck.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, they're good decks. It's just I don't think Kankole is actually amazing right now, amazing enough to justify not running any of the restriction cards. Even though Hatsukaze is kind of irrelevant and Akagi is pretty mediocre.
For me, I
What
give
do
the
you
card.
think?
I give this card a playable plus. I think Akagi Kai is mediocre right now. I think the most important piece to hate on is probably healing. I mean, like if you're playing without anti-heal and you run up against Index, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be rough. Like in general, and like I don't know. I
Did
think
we lose? Did we lose Burnley?
Beanley.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Feel free to
cool.
interject whenever.
Yeah, like, what do you reckon about Kashima?
Kashima versus
Well,
Congo. I think that's the real debate here for me.
yeah, in this type of like um, format, I think Congo is definitely better because of um, anti-damage counters exist. But I do like how Kashima, um, if she does get a reverse, you do have some type of control with how you're gonna burn. I guess. I mean, it's like a free burn if you get that reverse.
Hmm. Oh, I think we should actually talk a bit about the burn effect.
Yeah.
It's not very good. Like, it's not very good at all. So, Kashima herself is not actually that big. Like she's kind of big, maybe like 11, 12. Not
Well,
big enough to kill a
she
lot of the
she
problem
can pump
characters.
herself to
Like
12. She can pump herself up to 12k
yeah, but that's only the last one you play, and you're
Yeah,
probably playing multiples because this effect sucks.
in
If you're
singles.
just yeah, it's just very average if you don't. So you only get to 13k with one Kashima, and each one other one is a bit smaller. You might have a card like what's her name? Z3 or something, one that taps to give 1/5. You might still have something like that around, and
Sure.
that's a very good card. Um, but anyway, whether or not you can reverse them, let's just assume for argument's sake that you can reverse everything on your opponent's side of the field. This card still isn't that good.
I mean, the output's
Um,
about 6 damage. The first one's pretty likely, the second one's okay, and the last one's 50-50.
you say that, but the thing is, your opponent can have sack counters. Your opponent, which sack counters
Well,
just
set
completely
counters
ruin.
are the big one. They just neuter the first reverse, and they make every following reverse less good too. But
It's like, oh no, it's more that your opponent reverses something like, okay, whatever. Then they attack into something that your counter actually just
oh,
straight up
getting
counters.
2 for 1.
You do that, and then you sack one of the reverse characters already, and then suddenly they've only pinged for 1 and 1, which is just extremely mediocre.
Pinging for 1-on-1 is okay though. I mean, that's like the same
It's
level as
fine.
Congo is like. It's just 1-on-1.
Yeah, but 1 on 1 is a world of difference away from one and maybe another two, maybe three. Like the fact this needs on reverse is very difficult in a world where cards like Trancing Pulse Rin are around, which Kashima is never reversing.
I mean, to an extent though, if
When
you're running
cards
this into 2 lever and you happen to dodge the money counter, then this card would be having a higher ceiling than Congo. Like 2 lever
how are you
is.
dodging a counter?
I don't know how you're gonna dodge it. I've drawn so many cards with that deck, but I mean, like if you can dodge like the second money counter, you
No,
could theoretically
I
burn
don't
in for
think
a
so.
lot.
This card is bad against Monogatari. This card is bad against Cinderella Girls. It's bad against any deck that has a plus 4k on defense.
You
It's
also get
just
like double bit by things like tap counters as well.
yeah, like the fact that there's just so many sack counters right now, and just this is hosed by anti damage. This is doubly hosed by sack counters. This is hosed by power counters. That alone, I think, makes Congo better right now.
I always thought Congo was like a very reasonable card. It's just red was unfortunately not
Well,
one of the better
I thought
support
Congo was
colors.
broken. Like when she was first spoiled and Hatsukaze wasn't around, I thought she was just broken. And yeah, she actually is really broken in a vacuum.
Yeah, I mean she is phenomenal in a vacuum. It's just there were huge reasons as to why you wouldn't be playing Congo back then. It was just Hatsukaze
Yeah.
plus anti heal plus Akagi. There was just no reason to slot in Congo when
Akagi is not better in Congo. It's just that
no,
Hatsukaze
it
existed.
just happened to work better in the shell.
Plus Junyo.
Yeah,
Yeah. Also,
yeah,
plus the draw two ditch one to get compasses.
yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah, the only thing that Kashima,
yeah,
I think the only thing Kashima's got going for is the draw two ditch one. Everything else is like whatever. This is also maybe your finisher of choice in a Hibiki build. I think it's better than your other options.
you think this is still better than Congo in a Hibiki build?
Yep.
Eh, I don't
The
know.
Hibiki build is it kind of aims to out attrition your opponent, so draw two ditch one for compasses is really, really good.
I guess. Eh, I don't know.
I think so.
Eh, nah.
Like the fact that you can draw two ditch one and get compasses is
Is
insane.
is
Like
is
compasses
relevant. It is very
it's not a
relevant.
fair wax card. Anyway, we spent way too long on this character or this
Um,
card.
I give the card playable plus personally.
Yeah, it's playable
Yeah,
plus.
playable.
All right, moving onward.
We've got the main character,
She
Fubuki
looks
Kaini.
very strange, actually.
Yeah, this is the anime protagonist. She's the destroyer. Bushiroad's done something different. They used to have destroyers all at like level 0 and 1, and carriers and stuff would have to be level 2 or whatever. Now they've just screwed the rules and everything can be anywhere. So Fubuki is one of the payoffs for going mono destroyer. which is now apparently a thing. She's a 3/2 10k. When it comes to play, draw up to one card and gets 2k power for the turn. And then she has, when this attacks, you may pay 3, ditch 2. So, um, yeah,
A
it's a pretty
lot.
hefty cost. Yeah, so what you do is you do that, and then you deal X damage, where X is the number of your other destroyer characters. So in this deck, it'll probably be 4, I suppose.
It's not really worth it. It sounds questionable.
It is very questionable. That's why I say it's like a bit of a joke build. Not only is it hyper expensive, but getting to this point, like you're very
Well,
restricted in deck building.
not only is it expensive, but the payoff is like probably gonna cancel.
Pretty much. Uh, Luckily, you don't need a climax at least, so that it's got that going for it. But
Sure.
being kind of foxholed or pigeonholed or whatever into that's not a word into mono destroyers, it's less restrictive than it sounds, but it's still not good because you miss out on good cards like Amagi, like m- any other level threes, including heals. Although you don't necessarily need 100% destroyers, I guess.
I mean,
Yeah,
ideally,
that
when
being
it's
said,
if you
hmm?
actually have like two destroyers on board, then it's a pretty reasonable damage hit. But is it worth paying 3 stock for that?
um, I'm not convinced it is. It's not anywhere near as good as like the Angel Beats finisher, which was customizable at all times. You didn't need to lock in before you entered battle phase.
I mean, you can
Uh,
still put it. You can still throw down like Musashi's and have some control, so, like some type of
yeah,
burn.
Yeah, but
I think that's reasonable. Play things like Musashi or like even you can even play a climax combo finisher like Congo because um, this one doesn't need a climax combo finish. But um, my other issue is that there's not actually that much in the way of good back row for destroyers. You've got the new Akatsuki, but I think literally one person in on this world will even want to play that, and then it's just a bunch of level zeros, including Z3, I guess. Because all of the destroy, there are really good destroyer cards. Don't get me wrong. There's Akatsuki, Hibiki, what's it called? Teruzuki. It's still level one combo.
yeah, these are all cards that you
Uh,
don't really want on the battlefield anymore by the time you hit level 3.
that's the thing. Like, the destroy deck has cards. Like, it has good cards, has a decent card pool, but I don't think it really has much for late game. You're gonna have to splash into different traits, I suppose.
I mean,
Uh, yeah. I mean, there's not much to say about this card. It's like
the card is niche.
it's it's trying to
Yeah.
force an archetype that doesn't really work unless you go out of your way to break the archetype. So yeah, I'm gonna go with niche myself.
Yep.
Yep.
Just expensive.
Moving onward.
Hayasui, this is a 102k. It is a level 1 bomb, and it's also got the ability to bond back a event. Um, the event is just the 3/5. I think it's just the 3/5 event counter, but I will check that because I'm not 100% sure.
No, it's yes, it is. It's a 3/5 event counter. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
it.
it is. Yep. So yeah, this is a
Didn't
1/0
this
bomb with lower power than usual
did,
and no other effects
didn't the
apparently.
set have a level 1 bomb before?
Yeah, it did. I think it was a bit conditional. I don't remember exactly how, but it was in Kantai 2. And since Red was not played back then, no one knows about it.
I I don't know. The counter definitely isn't worth running, so I don't remember what the other bomb exactly does besides existing. So
I'll look it up. Anyway, this card is fine. It's a level 1 bomb. You can't really go wrong.
yeah, but if the other bomb is better, there's just no reason to play this.
I don't know if the other bomb is better. Let's have a look.
Like a
Uh,
search. As it is, it's just like a playable card. The first
mhm.
ability is not super relevant. I don't think you're running a 3/5 event counter in this deck.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think so. There's just no reason to. Or maybe there wasn't a level 1 bomb. Maybe I was just imagining things.
I could have sworn there was a level 1 bomb.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
I,
I definitely remember talking about it at some point. I just can't find it.
Well,
Oh no,
yeah,
there it is.
yeah,
There it is.
against.
It's for light cruise. It gives light
Yeah, I
cruisers
guess.
extra power.
That still seems
Uh,
more reasonable than I don't know. Maybe there's enough life cruisers, but I guess it does force like certain deck building things.
I
Eh,
mean, this one is good if your goal is to empty your field because it's weaker than the other bomb. But whatever, it's a bomb. Like, it's playable. That's all.
yeah. Moving onward.
We got a Kitsashima again. So this is a 105k with a Climax combo. The Climax is a stock soul. Stock soul. You've got one cost. If this is in the front row, you may pay that cost. If so, all your other characters gain the ability. On attack, check your top deck. If it's a boat girl, you get to salvage a character.
So it's a
So
potential
this
pay
is,
one plus two.
Pay 1+1 since you're playing the Climax.
Oh, sure.
Um, yeah.
It's definitely a card that's
So
bad in multiples.
it's not great in multiples since it's obviously diminishing returns, but paying 2 to +2 is fine, I think.
Eh? I mean, you have better costless options, which makes this very questionable to me.
Yeah, and this card isn't even guaranteed. That's the real kicker for me. I do
This
like
deck runs
that
a lot of events sometimes.
Nah, just a 3 compass usually. 3 to 4 compass.
Eh.
Sometimes lower if you really don't like compass.
I don't know. Every time I'm looking at this fact, it's always like it's hard to compete with just the pure efficiency of like Gigant Shooter, or even to an extent like dealing with the insanity that Otomatsu has with their version.
Yeah. No, this card is fine. It's a nice combination of selectivity and needing to tap your top deck.
I
And I think
dislike it
it's
being multiply conditioned though.
well, it's a step in the right direction because they've realized that they done goofed.
You say that.
Yeah, they're fixing themselves slowly,
You say that.
slowly. This card is still fine. Like it's still a playable card.
Yeah, it's just I don't feel like you're running this card ever. I mean, it's definitely like something you could try, but it just doesn't feel inherently powerful. And
Sure.
it also feels like you will definitely lose games when you just reveal Climax off the top and you just suddenly end up with no hand because it is a 5k body. It's going to die on the swing back, especially in a deck like Kantai.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like, is your pay 1 or pay 2 plus 2 worth trading against your opponent's pay nothing plus 2? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the question, though. I mean,
Because your opponent is going to be paying nothing most of the time.
I like Prince better than this simply because Prince leaves you with a 6/5. This is just a 5k.
I mean, it doesn't even get to join the list of, like, Shimika and Kaze, where they just get to at least be vanillas. It's just
Yeah, that's fair.
this is like below rate on power these days with a costed attack or a costed
I still
plus.
think it's costed, but it's still below rate for cost. Like you get 2 salvages for 1. That's pretty good. Granted, you need
guess.
to hit, but that's still fine. Like I still think this is
I mean,
perfectly
on
playable.
on average, you're going to be hitting like 80% of the time, so it's not likely that you're going to completely whiff. But you're you're talking about a deck that has usually around 11 misses. So
Chances are you're going to hit.
I mean, the issue with the kind of top reveal is like no deck gets to guarantee hits really.
I mean, if you're playing like 4 stock soul and 4 gates, then you've got mostly hits.
Well, before gates, you go up to 7 misses in deck.
Sure,
That's okay.
I think this card is fine.
I mean, it's just playable for me. It feels like it's not inherently powerful.
Mm.
Like there are issues.
It's not broken if that's what you mean, but
I
no,
mean,
it's fine.
I mean, there are very few cards that get to be broken anymore. I say that, and yet, moving onward.
No, no, I think we've entered the stage of development where they realize they've screwed up. They're not printing us as much anymore.
Yeah, thank God. Oh my God. Next up is a 2/1. This card is fairly reasonable.
This card is very good. I just lost my tab. Anyway, this is Abu Kamakaine. It's a 2/1/6k. When this is placed from hand to stage, you mill a card. If it's a climax, deal 1 damage to your opponents. And when this becomes reversed, if the level of your battle opponent is higher than the level of your opponent, reverse that character. So it's an
So
anti bomb.
the first effect is gravy. This is
Yeah, the first effect is fine. Like it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't change my valuation. It's just a good a fine effect to have on a card that you would already play for the second ability.
yeah. I mean, like sometimes you're just gonna get like pay one, and kill an early boy. Seems reasonable. I mean, like
You
milling
know,
a
like this is
climax is not usually going to be a huge deal.
or you're gonna trigger it anyway.
Yeah, so that's why it's not a huge deal.
This is a just a good card. It deals with problems like 3/2 like I said, Shinobu and Transing Pulse Rin. They're the big boogeymen of the Japan scene, not the Japanese scene, just the Japan scene. So this card should definitely see play there. And it's as much a reason to go into red as Kongo or Kashima are.
Yep. This is a
Yep.
playable plus for me. I could see an
Hmm.
argument for good minus, but playable plus I think is where it belongs. You're probably not going to be running more than two if you're running any at all.
Hmm. I
Alright.
mean, I'm still gonna give this a good rating, and I'm gonna give it a meta rating. I'm gonna keep doing this until it's widespread.
Alright, let me update your rating. There you go. There you go. Alright, moving onward.
All right, next card, Fuso Kaini, 3/2, it's 9/5. If you have this same card and Yamashiro Kaini in your level zone, this is an advanced summon. And when this is placed from hand for stage, you may pay cost, which is one. If you do, choose a Yamashiro Kaini from your waiting room and put it anywhere on stage. So Yamashiro Kaini is a 3/2 as well, with a bunch of it doesn't do anything except heal. I'm pretty yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's a
all it
heal.
does. So we can
It's
evaluate these two cards at the same time, I guess.
seems bad.
It proliferates your field very rapidly, but
I mean, you're
in
paying.
order for it to be any good, you need to have four of each in your deck, and then it's a very medium card that doesn't finish the game, provides only medium presence.
It
Like
even
it's not
it forces
actually,
you into mono red almost.
yeah, it does. And not only that, like the Fuso Kaini herself is only a 9/5. Yamashiro Kaini is a lot bigger.
11.
She's 11k, which is fine, but it's still not impressive.
Like if you need a lot of two soul beaters at level 2, here you go. You can pay 3 stock to get the heal and two soul beaters, but at the same time, like, is it worth going basically mono red, splashing for some zero hate, level 0 hate, and basically conceding your top end? I mean, I guess you still get Congo, but like, how many slots are you going up to 12 level 3s?
Probably more if you play Kongo Kaini.
I don't know. Seems questionable. Playable minus for me. I think it takes too many
Niche,
slots.
niche.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
guess
think this is good.
I guess niche is a better way to put it. You're basically just building around it.
Card's not even good. Like
Yeah.
building around something like the Zero Note Skyma one or the Schoolgirl Strikers one. Those are fine cards that do work and have good support. These cards are just kind of
They don't really
whatever.
do anything. All right,
I
moving
mean, it's
onward.
mm,
I mean, just healing doesn't seem worth the payoff.
healing and being kind of big. It's all right, but I'd much rather play something standalone like Taiho.
All right.
Mm. All right, into the uncommons. We've got 0015 Katori. She's got an ability. When this is placed from hand to stage, if you have another copy of this, you may pay two and switch or move one of your opponent's characters to an empty slot on their stage.
It's also a level 0 bomb.
Yep, and it's level 0 bomb.
Um,
So this ability is neat, I suppose.
it's very expensive.
It is very expensive, and it requires you to run a bunch of these, which is
Also
a little bit
annoying.
annoying. Oh wait, no. You don't need another one of these. You need Kashima. Never mind. It's the level 3 Kashima. I misread.
Oh, it's the level
So
3 Kashima on board?
yeah, it's level 3 Kashima.
Okay, so then this is almost.
I remember this being spoiled actually. This was spoiled alongside Kashima
So this is their
as
way of trying to say here's a reverse, but then do you really? Oh man.
I mean this can be good against some decks which really like depending on their back row. But at the same time, once you have Kashima out, this effect is a bit too little, too late. I don't know if I want to pay an extra two.
I think
I'd
I'm just
rather
gonna.
just.
I think I'm gonna keep playing the clock bomb with shift.
I don't think I play any bombs right now. Not in
I mean,
Kantai.
if I was gonna play bomb, it's gonna be that clock bomb with shift.
Yeah, even if a red fixing, I'd much rather play the pseudo runner, the one that runs to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
What do you think, Bailey?
I think it's just this is a niche card. Like I don't
yeah.
really see this being like having decks on for like
Yeah.
even if you run Kashima, like I don't think it's worth paying two.
Yeah.
hmm The card quality at level 0 is so high in Kantai that like you've got Akatsuki, you've got the new pseudo Akatsuki that sacks itself. You've got brainstorms. You've got good supports, and if you want to run Hibiki or Hatsukaze, you've got those as well. Like it's just such a high level of good cards. A card like this just doesn't make the cut for me.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, so it's
Stop it.
niche because you need to be running Kashima for this to be relevant at all. Otherwise, it's just straight outclassed by either Ushio or even like I think even the first set Satsuki is better than this. Anyway, moving on.
Next up is
Hayasui
apparently.
Hayasui Kai. Yep. So this is 216k gives global 1k, and it also has a combo with that 1/1 event counter. When you play that counter, you give a card 2k. So it turns that counter into a split counter for 3/5 and 2k, or a single one cost for 5/5.
That
I'm making it sound a lot better than it is.
it's
It's not
not
good.
good.
Yeah. While there are some decks that might appreciate playing that counter, like I guess you could make a argument for the mono red deck playing that counter, but I don't know if those decks also want to find room for a 2/1 support that only gives 1k, and well, I think people underestimate the power of a 2/1 support in any deck with advanced summons. I think power starts to matter a lot at level 3 simply because on reverse stuff is really really game changing. But even so, I don't think I can give this card anything higher than a niche rating because
I think the
it's just a
interaction
two on
is.
one.
I think the interaction
It's just a
forces it
two
to
on
be
one K
niche.
for most of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the interaction forces it to be niche. I mean, you get to have hilariously huge counters, but like I don't think that matters.
I mean, yeah, that means you have to run the counters in the first place. I don't think
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
I don't want to be running those counters,
Yeah, I've got this. I still think it's just niche.
especially because if you're in mono red, then like no compass seems questionable. All right,
Mm.
moving onward.
Yep, Mutsuki Kaine 0025. This gets another 2k for all of your Kisaragi Kaine,
That's
which is
next. It has the same
which
effect.
is the exact same card but with Mutsuki Kaine.
It's
Uh,
not good.
I actually think this is bad.
It's
Yeah.
real bad.
Just straight up bad is what I'm giving it.
Yeah. Next up, vanilla counter.
Murakumo Kaine. So this
think-
was low key one of the best cards in Kantai 1. Now it's just a 1/0 vanilla counter, which is a destroyer, by the way. So
I guess that's relevant.
the destroyer matters.
I don't think you're running a vanilla
Oh.
counter, so
I think no, I think you are.
you
I
think you are
you
running
definitely.
this?
Yeah, I would run this in the meta build simply because it fixes for red.
Okay, sure. I mean, I guess you did. Fixing for red is reasonable. Sure.
And it's also a counter for your sort of big level 1 field. I don't think it's actually that big, but it's fine.
Sometimes 1500 power is just enough.
hmm
I'm I'm still leaning towards like. I mean, it's a counter. It's still playable.
Yeah, it's playable.
Yeah,
You'll play it, but you're not going to be excited about it.
not very interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, moving next.
Mizuho, it's a 215k. You'd think this is a support, but you'd be wrong. when this plays from hand to stage, if you have four or more other Fleet Girl characters, so this is the last card you play until full field, you may put the top card of your deck in stock, and then one cost. When this attacks, you may pay cost. If so, you may salvage your character.
I don't understand what's 5k.
Because it's got really good effects on it, I guess. Like it's effectively it's a zero cost card that has pay one to salvage without a combo.
That's fine.
Uh,
I mean, but you're
it's
you're doing
fine,
it level
but I
2, which is probably right after you're refreshed in this deck.
I don't even know, I don't think you can find room for it. It's just not a great card.
It's just definitely not good enough, especially for something that instantly dies.
It dies, but that's not necessarily a
It's
bad
not
thing
always a
later on.
downside, but like against certain decks, the fact that you have the empty slot there could hurt you.
Yeah, I do think that is a.
Like
It's
if
fair
you have,
enough.
if you have an empty slot against whoever, they're like, okay, that's fine. You can have that slot. I'll take the extra damage. Like, and at the same time though, you could be playing against like CG where they do need to reverse and having the empty
CG?
slot or not CG. I mean, I guess Kantai now. Or Milky, where they do need to reverse, and then you get to bite them there while getting your pay one
Yeah.
plus.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like against certain decks, this card is fine. Against other decks, this card is gonna definitely hurt a lot.
Yeah, look, I think this is actually cards like this have a lot of flexibility, and I like these cards a lot. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't think it's high enough a power level to play. It's certainly a fine card, like in a vacuum, but a card that just a costless card that has pay one, salvage one is not a card that you look to actively be playing right now.
Especially when it has the power of a 1/0 with an effect.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty questionable for me.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
if it could at
I've
least
got
threaten
this
to kill
playable.
level 1s, then maybe.
I've got this as playable simply because it can toolbox from your waiting room, which is pretty important. Plus, that blind stock it gets is a lot less problematic since you can pay it out immediately.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with playable minus personally. It seems sketch to have this
What do
in
you
your
think,
deck.
Pinky?
It's playable at best. That's all you can really say about
Yeah.
this card.
All right, so
You can't possibly give it anything higher.
yeah, and finally the last card in red. It's an event. Oil drums.
Well, it's the event counter we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean it's an event counter. I guess at this point it actually reached niche status. There's enough things that you can play around with it that you could theoretically make this a funny deck.
Yeah, I don't think this is a great card when you already have like if 3/5 is fine, but I think being able to search or Akatsuki out your counter is more important. And for that reason, I think the 1/1 Ashigara counter is just better if you need a costed power counter.
Is that the one that makes you
Um,
reveal your hand?
No, it's the 1/1 that gives extra to boat girls if you have there's some fake requirements.
Sure.
If it's a boat girl, I think. If the battling character's a boat girl.
Oh man. My standard
So it's
dreams, they're falling apart.
Yeah. So yeah, in the deck that Kantai wants to wall a little, they don't want to be a dedicated wall really, but they do want to wall a bit. And in that case, they'd rather have the flexibility and searchability of character counters. And you specifically need to be running the mono red deck that can salvage back this counter in order for it to be good. Historically, I don't think I've ever seen a costed bond to a 1/1 event counter be particularly good.
Neither
I've seen the
quite.
ditch bonds be okay, but not the costed ones.
Well, I mean, okay, as soon as Raku got restricted / banned, I'm basically banned. Um, there was a bigger shift towards yellow as the level 1
Yellow
game.
was the best regardless, but Raku was just much better than your other options anyway. So yeah, it did make the toolboxing potential a lot worse.
I mean, you
I
lost
agree.
the counter and you got a better pendant.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that was a trade-off. I mean, there are people who still run blue pendant sometimes, but that's whatever.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, that's red.
Red got really
and
shafted this set, apparently, in terms of
it's just
number of cards.
It's just small. It's just
Yeah.
small because The only cards that they really cared about were Kashima and Kashima derivatives.
All right, so we'll be right back with the blue. Blue is last.
Yep.
All right.